everybody, welcome back to Rant Radio, episode 618, coming to you on Wednesday, September 17th. We're going to preview Saturday night's game between the Trojans and the Spartans. It's an epic battle, USC and Michigan State. We're going to preview it. Late kickoff at the Coliseum. All of our thoughts, our predictions, all of that stuff here in this episode coming up. As always, you can follow us on social media at Rant Troy. Email us, rantoftroy@fanside.com, and our phone number, 818-643-7227, Second Whisper and Show. I'm your host, Michael Castillo, along with my co-host here in the Rant Troy Studio in Los Angeles, Elise Zaratola.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. A little bit of a late kickoff for us, too. Computer just decided to literally not work.
They like to do that.
Yeah.
Usually, they like to do that 5 minutes before we're going to start
5 minutes
recording.
before we're about to record.
Always.
I'm trying to export the over-under graphic, and then Photoshop's like, brutal. But here we are. For another preview episode. Alicia, should we just get into the news straight away? Because we've got stuff. We've got stuff with the news.
We do.
All right, let's start with injury updates. USC has the injury bug a little bit, sort of, kind of. Chasen Johnson, cornerback, the transfer from Central Florida. We've seen him get somewhat limited run, but some run at corner. He has a knee injury, out for the season. He hasn't played 4 games, obviously, so he'll be redshirting. He did not redshirt last year as a true freshman at UCF. This is a big knock for the Trojans, considering they already don't have Prophet Brown.
Yeah, and Alex Graham, the freshman who we expected to start at nickel, I believe is still out. So
yeah.
The DB group is definitely dealing with some injuries, unfortunately. On the plus side, there was a certain amount of depth in that group that USC is now digging into. So it's not the end of the world to have Chasen Johnson be out for the season. It's more disappointing than anything, because I think that the hope would have been that he would have settled in and become a much more important player for USC as the season went on. Yeah. And obviously now that's not going to happen. USC is going to have to lean more and more on the few guys that they do still have out there at corner. I think the issue here is that you're not going to be able to sort of have alternatives to certain players. Right now, USC is rolling with DeCarlos Nicholson and sort of Braylon Conley or Marcellus Williams as the top corners, but DJ Harvey's been in there and hasn't done super well when he has. And when you have a player like DJ Harvey who maybe needs some time to settle in and figure things out and get used to playing in this defense, it would have been nice to not have to be able to take him out of the firing line for a little while and lean on somebody else. And USC's now at a stage where, they don't really have that luxury. They are down to basically the 4 that they've been using, and if those 4 aren't sufficient to get the job done at corner, that's there aren't too many that USC could turn to. I mean, there's Tristan Castro the and James Johnson the freshman, but I haven't really.
Steve Miller still at DB, right?
Yeah, I believe he's at safety. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that when Azal Longstreet came to SC and then his brother tagged along as a transfer from Texas A&M, we really thought that he was just kind of like a throw-it, right? Like, I don't think that we expected him to play a role. And we've seen him a lot in the first 3 weeks. But now, without Chasen Johnson, without Prophet Brown and Alex Graham, I think there's a lot on the shoulders of Kevin Longstreet to sort of be that rotational corner, right?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge here is that it sort of forces the Kamari Ramsey at nickel thing to remain the reality. Like the base defense that USC has with Kamari Ramsey not at safety but at nickel, and behind Kamari Ramsey, you are looking at Kevin Longstreet as your next option. And I don't know if he got in the did he get in the game at all against Purdue? I think that
he did.
Limited participation from him against Purdue, if nothing else, like sort of does tell us that, I don't know that they envisioned that Kevin Longstreet was going to be somebody that they were going to have to rely on in not like quote unquote preseason games. So again, it's just stretching the depth a little bit and having to scrape down and use guys that maybe aren't quite ready or that you weren't planning on throwing out there this early. But this is also the reality of what, of what a season is. This is always the thing that is hardest to sort out in the off season when we're talking about our expectations for a team or projecting wins and losses and all that kind of stuff. Is you can't predict where the injuries are going to hit. You just know that somewhere is going to get injury hit, and you have to cross your fingers and hope that it's not the areas where you can least afford to deal with those injuries. So, it was inevitable that one of these position groups was going to get thinned out a little bit, and corner is the one. So it's the next man up mentality has to be there.
Yeah, Longstreet did not get in against Purdue. Not on the participation chart. He did have three tackles in the first couple of weeks. So either way, like Rob Murray in the chat says, next man up. Yeah, it's got to be next man up for the Trojans there. And then a receiver, Zacharias Williams, your dude, transfer from Utah, still out after getting hurt against Georgia Southern.
I did this to him. I apologize greatly.
You're magic, man.
I called him my guy. Mm-hmm. I called him my guy, and I should have known better.
Yeah, you Trey Maddened him.
I did.
You Trey Maddened him. Yeah, it seems sort of ambiguous how long he'll be out. A few weeks or so is sort of the idea from Lincoln Riley. So the good news for SC is, like, I think receiver is the one spot that SC's got to be feeling good about right now, in part because they're not rotating as much as they did before. So you still got Jay Fair. You still got, obviously Chinook Hines is rolling with the ones right now, but
well, they've been you've
got dudes.
We've seen DJ Jordan. We've seen Jaden Richardson.
Yeah. I
wouldn't be surprised if down the line they started to give some opportunities to guys like Corey Sims and Romero Eisen, the freshmen. So I agree with you. I think that receiver is one of those ones where they're only planning to really use three guys in that rotation in a game, with scraps getting picked up by a couple other guys, and Zacharias Williams looked like he was going to be one of those guys who was going to get that sort of fourth or fifth option. But the fourth or fifth option, in the way that they are currently subbing at wide receiver, is a very limited role. So if that just falls to Jay Fair and DJ Jordan, then so be it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get to the other interesting little thing that came out this week. EPA, which is expected points added. I like FEI because FEI is about drives. EPA is about points. And they love the Trojans. Lisa, we're going to throw up the chart here on the screen. This is a chart where the x-axis is offense. The y-axis is defense. The further right you are, the better offense you have. The further up you are, the better defense you have. This is opponent-adjusted EPA. Lisa, if you can't find SC on this chart, it's because you are not looking right and high enough. They are literally right there in the crotch of the corner of the page.
Yeah, and
like almost off the page.
And this is opponent adjusted, right?
Yes.
That means something. And of course, opponent adjustment for teams that are as bad as the teams that USC has played this year, you can only adjust so much for those opponents. But clearly USC has been doing something right on both sides of the ball to get put in that phase. A lot of those other teams in the middle of this graph have played a schedule that is just as bad as USC's is, and none of them have been as efficient as USC has been on offense and on defense. Now, this is a really good sign if USC can keep it up. The thing that USC has to do, though, is keep it up when they start playing the tougher opponents on the schedule. If they can, then this team will be, I mean, one of the big surprises of the season, and finally potentially start living up to what this roster probably should be expected to do in the first place.
Yeah. 100%. I think that my guess, I'm not 100% caught up on exactly what the things are that affect expected point, EPA expected points, especially when you look at the per play level. But I would imagine that it's buoyed by SC forcing turnovers, which drastically reduces the points for the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fact that SC's offense has just been a methodical machine. Every single drive against Purdue ended up in points or an attempted field goal, which, as far as FEI is concerned, that's 100%. Points or field goals is how they sort of determine that. So,
yeah, and that's we can be disappointed that USC was settling for some of those field goals, but the fact is that if your drives are resulting in any sort of points, your numbers are going to look pretty good.
Yeah, I think that obviously it's through 3 weeks, small sample size. I saw that J. Bud Davis, who's the person who puts this together for the EP, doing the EPA stuff, he showed the chart he had from a year ago, and Ohio State and some other teams that you would expect were way up in that corner that SC is in. So basically saying that, yes, it's limited data, but also you can see some stuff early.
Is he the one who tweeted you should 100% overreact to where USC is on that chart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody else pointed out that anyone poo-pooing EPA should realize that Notre Dame and Ohio State were 1 and 2 last November. So yeah, again, but that's November. This is September. So.
Yeah, where you are in EPA in September matters a hell of a lot less than where you are in November.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the last little news nugget. The transfer window has a bit of a change. This comes from a tweet from Ross Dellinger. The NCAA Administrative Committee decided today to eliminate the spring football transfer portal window, but left undecided the exact length and timing of a single fall portal window. Sources tell Yahoo Sports a decision on the details of the window is expected within the month. Alicia, talk to me about that.
So what I believe that when they refer to the fall portal window, they are referring to the January window, and that they have eliminated the April window or the May window, whatever. They believe it was April. So the post spring camp window is going to be gone, and it'll just be at after the season the window that's in presumably January. Obviously, we don't have the details officially on that, but it's going to be in that general area of time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I get why they want to do this. I absolutely understand why they want to limit it. At the same time, kind of sucks for the players. Because you can come back, right now, you can come back and see where you stand in fall camp and then decide to move on somewhere else. But
I wonder what Ryan Brown, the Purdue quarterback, thinks about this. Because in the fall window, so I guess the end of fall semester, he left Purdue for North Carolina, but he came back after the spring semester. And so I do think that, I wonder if it's going to curtail the amount of transfers in the sense that, guys are going to be less willing to take a chance on going somewhere else to win a job in the spring or something? Or
Is
maybe
there
the opposite? Maybe.
I mean, is there a
I don't know.
possibility that we see guys sit out the spring? Like, I think there's a definite negative to that missing spring camp. But if you are somebody who sort of doesn't like your options super well, and you can sort of sit out and wait until teams get a look at their spring camp rosters and results, and then be available for them in April and May. It's important to note that the transfer portal window is the window in which players can submit their names to leave. They can commit to and join a program sort of whenever. That window is not about getting in.
They can commit whenever. They still have to enroll.
The limitations on their joining a team comes down to like academic enrollment and all of that kind of stuff. But the window is about putting your name into the portal and exiting your current program. I also wonder if we're just going to see a lot of guys, and I don't know the legality of this, so this is just me sort of guessing. What if you have a situation where you put your name in the portal, so your name is in the portal, you still practice, go through spring camp practice with the team that you're on, but have your name be in the portal so that you can make your decision in April? I think it's going to get really interesting. I don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah. Joe in the chat says the SEC wanted the January window, the Big Ten wanted the April window. Yeah, I kind of think both windows make sense to have.
I personally think both made sense, but
especially because you need to know your numbers in terms of recruiting, even though real signing day now is December, unfortunately. So I guess you already know that. I don't know. The whole thing. I think both windows probably make sense. It's what they have in the footy. Hey.
I get it though, because one of the problems that the sport of college football has right now is the roster turnover question, and we talk all the time with fans of that are listening to this podcast, who we've mentioned are probably in the top like 2% of college football fans, just by virtue of listening to or watching this podcast, and our fans talk about being frustrated that they go into the season and don't know who's on the roster and don't know any of these players and don't want to get attached to the players that are there, and I think it's probably magnified even more with the general population of college football fans. And one of the ways that maybe they can try to curtail some of the chaotic, frantic movement of the portal is to limit it to the one window. There are very few areas where the NCAA at this point can control these things, and this is one of them. So it's gonna be, all of this stuff is gonna be tricky to iron out, but it's not our job to do that. So
we will. I feel like every time that there's a new news cycle, there is an update to things that are going on with the transfer portal, with scholarships, with everything. It's hard to keep up on everything.
Joe Zie, sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
Just say Joe.
Joe in the chat says, one good thing is now we can have spring games without fear of players getting poached. I mean, that's probably another element. Coaches were really mad about having their spring games televised because it was an opportunity for teams to scout their players. Mm-hmm. So that maybe this has saved the spring game.
We'll see. We'll see who wants to make their picks on whether or not the spring game sort of comes back for the Trojans. They should call it the Trojan Huddle. Bring that. That's where my pick is. Of course, my other picks are over at Underdog, and you can join me over at Underdog because that's my favorite daily fantasy app, Underdog, where I can play for as little as $1, win up to 5,000 times my money. It's all about knowing your ball knowledge if you got any. Pick whether a player will go higher or lower than their stat projections. Mix and match with different players, different teams, even different sports. This week, Thursday Night Football. Dolphins, Bills. I'm going higher, 4.5 tackles, solo tackles for Mika Fitzpatrick, and lower, 29.5 pass attempts for Josh Allen. It's Thursday night. Things get a little weird. Join me and start making your picks over at Underdog today. Download the app and sign up with promo code RAINOFTROY to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 as promo code Reign of Troy. Millions of fans have already won billions. Making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. Lisa, you ready?
I'm ready.
Good. Let's get into it. Saturday nights, the Trojans and the Spartans locking horns at the Coliseum. A fitting spot for Trojans and Spartans, I think. Do you think the people in
We're
Troy
mixing a lot. Here's the problem with the Trojans and the Spartans at the Colosseum is
existed?
We are mixing metaphors.
Did Rome even exist?
Rome did not exist when Rome did not exist when the Trojans or the Spartans existed. The mythology is that the remnants of Troy, Aeneas and the people that he brought with him after the sack of Troy ended up found in Rome.
That's
where they founded Rome.
Romulus and whatever.
Romulus and Remus, yeah.
Remus?
Yeah.
That's where they started sucking the teat of that
Of the she-wolf, yes.
Yeah.
On the Appian Hill?
Sure.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah. It's the Appian Way, which is a Don Henley song. But
I think the Appian Hill is the hill upon which Rome is built.
Yeah.
Either way, Trojan, Spartans, Colosseum is a lot of mixed metaphors. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, the Romans stole everything.
I mean, they did.
We talk about, the British Museum being the ultimate, loot palace, right? Like, everybody else's history is in the British Museum. Rome literally stole everybody else's culture. Like, you got gods over there, Greeks? Okay, we're going to take these. But you know what? We're going to rename them. How about that? Yeah. Then we're going to name the planets after them. Days of the week.
West Texas Mike says, you must have loved last season's video with the Trojans inside the Trojan horse. We had many conversations about that video. Looked awesome.
Yeah. There's a conversation in the chat about the whether or not there should be a Trojan horse, trophy that goes to perhaps the loser of this game. That would be interesting. Of course, neither team would sign up for that, but it would be fun.
If I had to design a trophy for the Trojan, the USC Michigan State Trojan Spartans, I would keep it simple, and I would do either a sword or a shield.
Helmet.
I thought helmet too, but then you have to decide what style of helmet you're going to do. This is why I thought that shield is probably the way to go.
I got it. It's a little thing. It's got a Trojan helmet, a Spartan helmet, and right through the middle is a sword that's like into the ground.
I don't get it. I can't envision what you're talking about.
It just okay. Like this size of helmet, right?
Yeah.
So this size of helmet, it's a Trojan helmet, and then there's one that's a Spartan helmet.
Okay.
And it's bronze or whatever metal you want it to be. So those are sitting next to each other. Mind you, this would look very phallic. Now that I think about this. So you have these two things. Well, the helmets wouldn't look phallic. The sword would.
The overall, yes.
Yes, and then you have the sword vertically erected in the middle, of course. and on the bottom is just like a little
what?
plate for it.
I'm gonna stick to my recommendation of it being a shield or a sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alien 55 says the tiara of Helen of Troy. She was Queen of Sparta who ran away or something with the prince from Troy. There you go. What's the statue that's over at the new UV?
Now you got me all.
I'm totally butchering this name here.
Gosh, you've got me mixed up, but it's
whatever it is, that could work too. All right, Trojans and Spartans, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time for Sparty, coming across, flying over several time zones, several hours through the air. The Spartans are 3-0, haven't played a Big Ten game yet. The Trojans are 1-0 in the conference, so...
Hecuba, sorry. Thank you, Ilium. Hecuba. You got me mixed up
Hakuba
with my...
was close.
You messed up the consonants were all out of order, and I was very mixed up. I've been doing this with K-pop Demon Hunters, if anybody knows. One of the characters' name is Jinu, and for whatever reason, like my brain decides that Junie is it instead, and I get it all mixed up. So this is happening to me. But yes, Hecuba.
There's Hecuba. Is there a Heck Puerto Rico? Okay. All right. Sparty, 3-0. They haven't played a Big Ten game yet. They're coached by Jonathan Smith. Last year, sort of a struggle bus, 5-7 in his first year, coming over from Oregon State. I don't think anyone blames him for that, right? He took over an absolute dumpster fire because of what what's-his-face before him was fired for. Do not recommend doing that, folks.
Yeah.
Last meeting for the Trojans and the Spartans, 1988 in the Rose Bowl. Spartans won 20-17. 67th in FEI, 86th in offense, 59th on defense, 24th special teams. Jeff Sagarin has them at number 58. Interesting start for them so far this year. They beat Western Michigan 23-6. Solid, just comfortable, in control win. Boston College ends up being a crazy shootout. 42-40, wild game, back and forth in East Lansing. All their games at home so far for Michigan State. Then last week, Youngstown State comes calling the Penguins, your Penguins, 41-24 over an FCS team, which doesn't look great on paper. I looked it up. If you look at yards per play of all the teams who have played an FCS team, I think Michigan State ranks 97th in the country defensively for yards per play allowed against an FCS team this year. What does that mean? I don't know, but it doesn't sound great, right? And they have not Michigan State as a program has not won a regular season game west of the Rockies since 1957. They lost 31-10 last year at Oregon.
Hey, do they just need a lightning delay for that streak to end?
Maybe. Is someone pull up the weather? What's the weather?
I mean, the weather outside is a little muggy.
Yeah.
It's a little humid.
You never know. The thing that they might need too is some sort of antidote. Not anecdote. An antidote? Is that the
yes,
word?
Antidote.
That's the thing that you use on the Pokemon?
Yes.
Yeah. Top receiver, Nick Marsh, questionable. At least at the time when I put this rundown together, if there's been an update, maybe that will develop as the week goes on. Top rusher, Mekhi Frazier, questionable. Those are two of their three biggest weapons on offense, next to quarterback Aiden Childs. Both starting offensive tackles came out of the game against Youngstown State. That's Stanton Vermeil and Montana State transfer, who was a second-team FCS All-American, Connor Moore. Both those guys came out from the Youngstown State game, not at 100%, but no reason why we shouldn't expect them to play on Friday at least. And then you got Luka Vincic out for the season. He was a transfer offensive lineman from Oregon State that people thought that could work his way into the rotation on the offensive line. He's done for the year. And kick returner Alante Brown is out long term. He's been pretty damn good at kick returns. One of the reasons why Michigan State is 24th in the country in terms of FEI among special teams units. So a lot of injuries, a lot of weird time zone. Traveling west, there's a lot of things. I think that if you're a Michigan State fan, you're not feeling good about this game. A lot of reasons. Let's get into the offense. We have in our notes super medium, but they're prone to negative plays. 59th in passing efficiency, 64th in points per drive, 66th in available yards, but 114th in sacks allowed, 122nd in tackles for loss allowed. They had 10 negative plays in week 1 against Western Michigan. And Western Michigan last year in tackles for loss was 119th in the country. Dan Lynn might be saying this.
You blitz all night!
Might be a thing. We'll see. USC, of course, second nationally with 31 tackles for loss in 3 games, including 10 last week at Purdue. So SC will be looking to make negative plays. And the Michigan State running backs. We know Mekhi Frazier, questionable. He might not be playing on Friday. But whether it's Elijah Totaliver or Brandon Tullis, Totaliver, the Sac State transfer, Tullis has gotten more reps so far through 3 weeks. Mekhi Frazier against Youngstown State last week, 22 yards on 12 carries for 1.8 yards per carry against an FCS team. Not great. Not great. So we'll see what SC can do against the run. They've been sort of hit and miss against the run, of course, so far this season. You put all this together, Alicia, is this not just making way for this to be the Aiden Childs show?
Yeah, pretty much. And you know, I don't know if that's what USC should want, because putting the game in Aiden Childs' hands means putting the game in the hands of their most talented player, probably.
Yeah.
So you know, we've seen USC, you know, get burned by quarterbacks making big plays, and I think that Aiden Childs is more than capable of doing what USC's, you know, what happened last week, where what was Purdue's quarterback's name? Brian Brown, where he just sort of like managed to convert a bunch of third downs with, you know, pressure in his face because he just magicked his way there. Yeah. I think Aiden Childs is capable of doing those things at an even higher level.
Yeah, let's get into that with Childs, especially on third downs. But like, he's an improved passer so far this season. Completed 72% of his passes. He was at 59% last year. If you look at September to September alone, he only completed 56% of his passes last year and threw 8 interceptions in September. So his start to the year, much better. Of course, Nick Marsh, probably their best perimeter playmaker, skill position guy. At receiver, he set all the freshman receiving records at Michigan State a year ago. He's far and away Aiden Childs' favorite target when he needs one. He had 11 targets in that Boston College shootout. But I think the thing that really stands out for Childs is that he's a very capable runner, scrambler. Dare I say the most capable runner SC will face all year? Perhaps?
It depends on what CJ Carr becomes, but yeah, sure. Maybe.
And the reason I say this, Childs has had 4 converted runs on 3rd and 4th and long this year, all of them gaining 10-plus yards. So remember Cordero from San Jose State?
Yeah.
They had like those long runs on 3rd down against SC a couple years ago?
Yep.
That's what Aiden Childs wants to do. Also, that doesn't include a 26-yard run against Western Michigan on a 3rd and 2. He has 7 gains of 10-plus yards on 3rd down this year on the ground with his legs, last year, which tied Woody Marks for the most in the Big Ten. Last year, he had 14 conversions on 3rd down, the most among any Big Ten quarterbacks. Cordero from San Jose State, someone to mention. The other one I don't want to make a lazy comparison here, but he kind of feels like
Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels at ASU. Not the LSU one, not the NFL one, but the ASU version. Like without that many weapons around him, a guy that's going to be hit and miss, and when he's on, he looks really, really good. But maybe sort of underperforming to the grand expectations that they have on him as a blue chip guy, but someone who is more than willing to scamper with his feet on third down and, stab SC's defense in the back, which is something that Jaden Daniels did a ton of for years.
Yeah, and that's the worry here is that Childs has a good arm, but he can also, beat you with his legs, and USC has had some issues with getting off of the field. And a quarterback like Childs is exactly the kind of quarterback who gives you issues with getting off of the field because of that. And it's a little bit of a worry. I think, as Brian in the chat, running QB equals USC nemesis.
Mm-hmm. Since L. Roberson.
Since forever, because running QBs are a pain in the ass. And that is something that USC's defense is going to have to contend with, while also making sure that they don't give up the kind of running lanes that they've given up in the first 3 weeks, that they, contain the receivers that are out there, that they don't have blown coverage, like all of the things that USC's defense needs to be working on are still there with this up against this Michigan State team. But you add in sort of a more dangerous playmaker at quarterback, and the mistakes that you make in those other areas can be even more devastating because they're going to give opportunities to a quarterback who, is capable of making you pay for it.
Yeah, I think that when we compare Michigan State to Purdue, in a lot of ways, I think you could say that Purdue's offense is in a better spot than Michigan State's. I like Purdue's receiving core more than Michigan State, especially if Nick Marsh is either going to be limited or out. Mm-hmm. Purdue's got a veteran running back in Devin Mockabee, and Michigan State's running back is injured in Mekhi Frazier. We don't know what his participation on Saturday is going to be, right? And so the offensive line issues have been a thing for Michigan State too because of injuries. Like, they have a lot of negative plays. I could see a world in which this is all set up for USC's defense to flex their muscles. But at the same time, one of SC's issues last week was not getting contained, not just on like run plays or anything, but like just in general in the moment of they get pressure on Ryan Brown, and it doesn't matter because he, flutters a pass out to Michael Jackson the third, who's standing there at the first down marker, right? Like, you got to get pressure, but actually get home, whether that be in the pass rush or whether that's getting into the backfields on a run and actually securing the tackle.
Yeah, but the other problem is just that, you can't be a defense that does get home, 75% of the time, but the 25% of the time that you don't get home, right, they're hitting long touchdown passes or they're breaking long touchdown runs. Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I'm not going to compare this to the Michigan game last year in terms of matchups, but I could see a world in very, very different offenses, very different quarterback. But I could see a world where USC is in a similar predicament, which is to say that the defense plays really well for the most part, and then 3 or 4 plays they screw up, and that's 4 touchdowns for Michigan State.
Yeah.
That is my concern when it comes to this Michigan State team, based on what we've seen from USC already. And then it comes down to the question of, this is the thing that we've been talking about in previous episodes too, the idea that you create these havoc plays, you create the pressure in order to create opportunities to get turnovers, but you have to. In order for that defensive strategy to work, you have to end that line of thinking with a turnover. And if they dry up, if the turnovers don't come, you get into a little bit more trouble.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing for the Trojans is that they've gotten those turnovers. I was gonna pull up big play because the one thing that SC has really done well on defense, so much of the talk is the bend don't break thing, which is sort of the opposite of that Michigan State game, that Michigan game last year. But I get exactly what you're talking about too. About like, there's a million reasons for SC to have a big advantage with the defense this week, especially when it's an offense that might be limited with injury, right?
So USC ranks 103rd in 10-yard plays given up, with 43.
Yeah, and then 30-yarders, they're 71st. But haven't given up a 40-yarder.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's always weird. Like, you look at, like, the weird discrepancies, especially early in the season. You'll have a team that, like, they don't give up many 10-yard plays, but they've given up 6 60-yarders or something like that. Like, there's always some weird outlier. And for SC, that's they give up a bunch of 10-yard plays, but not 40-yard plays. But 30-yard plays they do. So yeah, it's always a hit and miss of something. Let's flip the side of the field and go to the defense. This is a Michigan State defense, classic 4-2-5, relies on two playmakers at linebacker and Jordan Hall and Wayne Matthews. These are guys who, not imports, they've been there a little bit. I think Wayne Matthews did transfer in, but he's not this past season. He's been there. 27 tackles for him, a tackle for loss and a pick. Jordan Hall, 27 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. These are the guys who are getting home more so than the defensive line. Their leading sack guy on the defensive line is one of their depth options in Lafayette at defensive end. And so when it comes to, the Michigan State defense making negative plays and havoc plays, they will be relying on the two linebackers in the middle of that 4-2-5. The number is sort of mid to decent. They're allowing 1.2 points per non-garbage drive, which is 20th in FBS, albeit that's only against FBS teams. So no Youngstown State is in there. They're 45th in possession efficiency, again, only against FBS teams. But there's definitely signs that they can be gettable. And I think we go back to Bill O'Brien's Boston College going into East Lansing a few weeks ago. They're the number one passing offense in FBS, in part because they threw 45 times at Michigan State for 390 yards and 4 passing touchdowns without a single interception. They played the game they wanted to against this defense. That feels like what SC would, like, watch the film and be like, okay, you want to give Lincoln Riley a reason to throw the ball 50 times and throw for 800 yards? I mean, that could do it. And, not to mention that this is the Michigan State team that will give up a chunk play. Western Michigan had 3 passes of 30-plus yards. Boston College had 9 of 15-plus. Youngstown State had 5 passing yards of 19-plus and had a 66-yard run. So teams are sort of relying on the big play to move the ball against Michigan State. Well, here's the bad news, Spartans. USC, number 1 in the country in yards per play. The big play kings through 3 weeks. This feels like a bad matchup for Michigan State's defense. A good one for SC's offense.
Yeah, well, I mean, USC's offense theoretically should be a bad matchup for a lot of the defenses that they go up against. For me, what it comes down to is again another game where this is way more about USC's execution than about the defense that's in front of them.
If you do your job, you're going to win this game.
You're going to win this game big if you do your job. If you are throwing the ball accurately, if you are making the correct decisions, if you are blocking, creating running lanes, letting the runners do their thing, all of those things that the talent that USC has on this offense and what we've already seen them do this year should be more than enough to overwhelm this Michigan State defense. USC's offense is simply better than Boston College, I will sort of say with a certain amount of confidence.
Yeah.
So that's that is ultimately the key. And that is one of the areas that we've seen USC in recent history sort of struggle the most with, is that level of not shooting yourself in the foot. It still comes down to guys making those plays. And obviously USC has guys who are very, very capable of creating big passing plays, big running plays. We've seen them do that. It's, are they going to be in the right spot? Are they going to catch the ball? Are they going to, hit the block that they need? All of those things come down to what USC ends up doing.
Yeah, 100%. This is a game where you just want to see SC sort of do their job and have the killer instinct to see a team that is coming in wounded, had to travel all the way across the country, and play at 11 p.m. Well, take it. Those are a lot of things in your favor for the Trojans. And that's before you even get into any of the scheme, any of the talent disparity or anything sort of like that. Like, those are the things that are right there given to you on a silver platter. And a big reason why you look at Vegas and SC is favored by 17.5.
Yeah.
That's why. Well, go make that the case then.
Yeah, the killer instinct is a good thing to bring up because that was basically the issue against Purdue.
Yeah.
Is that USC had opportunities in that game to put that one away. They, turn one of those field goal drives into a touchdown, make one of those, deep throws work, and any number of things. USC pulls away and is able to, again, clear the benches and bring out the backups and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just in the second half, USC didn't look like they were firing on all cylinders. And so a game that should have been, out of the running well earlier, still had the tinge of anxiety, as unreasonable as that anxiety was. USC fans were feeling that way because we've seen this story before. And in this game, I think it's likely to be another one of those where if USC is able to just get that 3-score lead, the 3-touchdown lead, it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over. This more than any other game that USC's had this year, especially like you said, given the circumstances, them flying out west, them having to play at 11 p.m. Eastern, all of those kinds of things. Like, give them a reason to give up. Give them any reason to give up, and I think you might just crush them just enough.
Yeah.
This is what happened to Rutgers last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're talking about Boston College. Boston College is a team that went over to the Farm and lost to Stanford last week. They threw for almost 400 yards against Michigan State, only to turn around and face a Stanford team who I don't think anyone thinks that Stanford's better than Michigan State. Mm-hmm. Both games were on the road, but one of them all the way across the country a week after you lost the overtime game. Mm-hmm. It was easy for Boston College to just nope out of it, right? Give them a reason to sort of, punt the game away for all intents and purposes. Let's get to the Rotometer really quick here before we get to over-under. All right, it stands at 6.74, I believe. I don't have the thing up in front of me, but you see the meter right there on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. I feel like maybe we need to take this segment out of the preview because this could be repetitive. What do you need to feel better? Oh, SC does their job. What do they need to feel worse? Oh, SC doesn't do their job. But in terms of specifics, I think this game is really clear. Michigan State makes a lot of negative plays and they give up a lot of pass yards. If you do not do those two things, I will not feel as good about USC going into Illinois. Because those are the two things that they struggle with, and those are the two best things that you do. So if you do those things and you take advantage, the Rotometer will not go down, even if this is a close game to me.
If it's a close game, the Rotometer's going down
for sure.
for me.
Maybe not a close game, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't win by 50 points, you win by, 13 points, but you throw for 500 yards and you force, 15 tackles for loss, like you're doing your job on the things that you're supposed to be doing your job with, which I think is encouraging. But obviously, if you don't do those things, that's a major indictment on your ability to sort of go forward. And then,
just answer the questions that I continue to have. We have seen this team rush the passer very well. This is a team that looks very vulnerable to rushing the passer. Mm-hmm. So go out there and get a bunch of sacks. It could lead the nation in sacks when this game is done. That'll make me feel better about USC, because then every game that USC does that proves further and further that it's not necessarily a fluke, that USC's edges are doing that good of a job. On offense, it's really about continuing to have your offensive line look relatively stable.
Yeah.
If nothing else, to have the quarterback making good decisions, not making, this is a term that will be coming up very soon, turnover-worthy plays. Those are the areas where Jaden Mayava can make me feel better about him as a quarterback if he goes out and continues to show the level of chemistry that he has with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, continues to hit the tight end up the seam, just those things that make me feel better.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get to over-under.
So you're going over.
I'm going bold. Give me that over.
I'll go under. I got to take an under here. I got 3 unders to take.
I'm going to do an under here.
All right, as the defending weekly over-under champ, I feel good about this going into week 2. So I will begin here. I'll run through these. We'll talk about them pretty quickly here. First one is over-under 0.5 Bishop Fitzgerald interceptions. He's been really good when he's been on, absolutely. 3 interceptions. He had 1 against Missouri State, 2 against Purdue. Aiden Childs has just 1 pick this year, but we said it last year. 8, and 11 of them were in September. So, 11 and 8 were in September, I believe is the number. Bishop Fitzgerald, does he continue to eat here? Is he having like one of those Talanoa Hufanga 2020 type years where he's just going to get an interception every single game?
Before I answer that question, Michael, can I share the over-under link, or is that not live yet?
No, share it. I can't paste it in the chat for some reason. Every time I do, in the old OBS, something else.
You have to copy-paste it. It doesn't create a link, but either way. Okay, Bishop Fitzgerald's having a hell of a start to the season. It's been very gratifying to see him do that. I think that eventually you can't expect a safety to get an interception every game.
Yeah.
But also, he's done it more often than not, and he's shown just a ball hawking tendency. And I think that he might be arguably the best ball hawking safety that USC has had since, you said, like Talanoa Hufanga. Mm-hmm. And in a different way, because Hufanga was more of he was like a linebacker at a certain point in his career.
Polamalu.
Yeah.
And Bishop Fitzgerald feels more like the Kalen Bullock in that, like, more of a coverage guy than a box safety.
Yeah.
Whereas Hufanga was a box safety.
Yes. Yeah. So I really love Bishop Fitzgerald, and I would love to bet on him again this week. But I am going to go with the under, simply because Childs has not really thrown a lot of interceptions this year. He has limited his turnover issues that he had at times last year. And, if anybody could do it, I think it's Bishop Fitzgerald. But I also think that it's more likely that there will not be a Bishop Fitzgerald INT in this game than there will be.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I whenever there's a 0.5, which, spoiler alert, there will be. Is there another one of those? No, there's not. Sorry, this is the only one. I get gun shy. Because I start, like, it seems too easy. Oh, you need one of them to hit the over. but also that means you don't get that one and you don't get it. So I'm going to take the under also. I'm going to agree with you there. To get to the next one, 1.5 Jaden Mayava turnover-worthy plays. This is according to PFF. PFF holds this. This is not us being the arbiter.
No, this is
here.
the PFF has a stat turnover-worthy play.
Yes. So far, in his starts, he had 3 against Nebraska last year, none against UCLA, 2 against Notre Dame, both of them were the pick sixes, 3 against Texas A&M, none against Missouri State, none against Georgia Southern, 3 against Purdue. The interesting thing here is, I think he threw 1 or 2 interceptions against Nebraska. But that was the only other game that number doesn't correspond to his exact number of interceptions, along with the Purdue game, where he had 0 interceptions, but 3 turnover-worthy plays. I think they were all on the same drive within a couple plays of each other. So 1.5 Jaden Mayava turnover-worthy plays. This is a Michigan State defense that is not great at creating turnovers. They're just sort of relying on their linebackers to get tackles for loss every now and then in terms of havoc.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the under, just because, again, the pattern here for Mayava has been it's feast or famine. He's either not throwing, not having turnovers or turnover-worthy plays, or he's doing it a lot. So I'm taking the under because I don't think that this game is set up to be one of those. The circumstances of this game probably allow USC to keep things a little bit more simple, keep things a little bit less frantic. Not like I don't think the pressure will be on in this one. So yeah,
I agree with everything you're saying, but I'm going to take the over, and the reason I'm taking the over on Mayava turnover-worthy plays is strictly because I expect that SC will try to throw the ball, and there just could be a lot of throws. And if there's more throws, that's more likely to have a turnover-worthy play on any of those things. So I'll take the over. Don't feel super confident about it, but that's where I'm going. All right, let's get to the next one. 7.5. USC passes of 15 plus yards. I wrote 30 plus yards on the graphic.
I was going to say 7.5 on 30-yard plays.
No. That would be insane.
Crazy.
No. It's 15 plus yard plays. Boston College had 9 against Michigan State. SC had 7 against Purdue, 9 against Georgia Southern, 8 against Mo State in week 1. 7.5. Plays of 15 plus yards through the air. I gotta fix it. I did that in the actual Google form too. 15
cannot
plus.
Believe it.
Yeah.
Cannot believe it. I hate this line. I hate this over under. This is one of those ones where it's like I don't know. My brain is telling me take the under.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is telling me that because just statistically, it's just more likely, it feels like, that USC will be at like 7 than 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we've seen USC make so many big plays already. So I'm going to risk it for the biscuit because of, again, the circumstances of this game, Michigan State's travel, the start time, all of that. I'm going to go over, but do so under duress.
I'm going over 2. And again, it's 15 plus yards, not 30. I think 15, like, if the average completion for SC is going to probably be around there. I think it works. SC had 7 against Purdue. That was on the road in a weird game. Now they come home in a game in which they have a million advantages before you even get to the football reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to take the over on that. Let's get to the next one, which is, I think, might be the toughest one here. 1.5. Aiden Childs' third down run conversions. These are successful first down pickups on third down with his legs. 1.5. He has 5 so far this year. And again, as we mentioned earlier, he's completed 4 of these on third or fourth down this season that have been, 4 converted on third and fourth and long. 5 in any sort of third down so far this year.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Is this very specifically
Third downs.
third downs,
Yeah.
not fourth downs?
I'm not including fourth down. I probably should, but it's not including fourth downs. But it probably should. We're going thirds.
When I thought it was going to include fourth, I was smashing the over.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Also, this doesn't include any sort of yardage.
Yeah.
These could be snakes.
Yeah. I feel this is a little bit like the Jacoby Lane, like, trick play over-under from last week, where it was really stupid of me to take the over. Like, seriously, what are the chances?
Yeah.
Twice. It has to happen twice.
Has to happen twice.
You know what? Screw it. I'm saying over.
This is an auto over for me. I don't like how much we're agreeing here. But
I know.
It's an auto over. He at best will have his starting running back and starting top receiver that are not at 100%. He's going to be willing, maybe more willing than normal, to run, especially when SC gets pressure. Maybe that's more reason for him to scamper around the other corner or whatever. So I'm going to take the over. I'll take the over on 1.5 Aiden Childs' third down run conversions. Let's get to the next one. 9.5 USC tackles for loss. That's a lot. But they had 13 against Mo State in week 1, 8 against Georgia Southern, 10 against Purdue, and Purdue allowed 10 in week 1 to Western Michigan, who's not a great team at forcing havoc plays. Last year in Big Ten play alone, Michigan State was 17th of 18 in the conference at allowing negative plays. It was 6.9 per game, which is way under the 9.5. But SC right now, number 2 in the country in tackles for loss.
This feels so high.
It does.
9.5 feels so high.
Crazy.
But I also, like, when you look at the numbers, when you look at what USC has done in the first 3 games, like, of course it has to be that high because they've already hit this over.
They've done it twice. Yeah.
So, yeah, fine. I'll do the over. This is gonna come back to bite me in the butt, and USC's gonna disappoint me because I took all of their. I went optimistic on everything.
I'm gonna go under, but they still might get 9. Who knows? But I'm gonna take under just because that is high. It is high. I do like. I feel everything that you're saying. It just feels too high, even if, yes, we've seen them do it twice so far this season. Yeah, it does seem high. All right, last one. Jacoby Lane catches 3.5. He had 3 against Mo State, 3 against Georgia Southern, 3 against Purdue.
And my favorite of those 3 is that he had 3 for 33 yards, 3 for 91 yards, and 3 for 115 yards.
Mm-hmm. I think it's 3 for 150 on Friday.
I mean,
Saturday.
The trend is speaking that direction.
Yeah.
I will go with the under here because I think he's just going to have 3 again.
Okay.
I think that's just going with that. He'll have 3. He'll have an impact, but not. He's not a volume guy. He's going to just have 3 big catches.
I'll go over. He's due. He's due for having more. So give him the over on 3.5 Jacoby Lane catches. You guys, of course, can play along with us, and we hope that you do. There's a link over in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, down there in the doobly-doo, hit the link there. Go make your picks. I've corrected it, by the way. So it does say in the forum, USC passes of 15 plus yards. So I feel bad for Brian, who's already put in his picks. Hopefully
he's listening and he understood.
Yeah, I hope. So, all right, here we go. Into game predictions. Vegas spread. It was 17.5 when I put the rundown in here. Is it still 17.5? What is it right this second? 17.5 still. Yeah. Okay, 17.5 for the Trojans. Home favorite. FEI says USC will win about 39 to 18 with a 92.7 win probability. Lisa, what's your score prediction?
I'm going 42-24 USC.
Okay.
I think that USC offensively should put up more points than they did against Purdue. Mm-hmm. I think that Michigan State will put up more points than the FEI projection. And USC will ultimately win comfortably.
That's fair, and that comfortably is like just a cover, like
yeah, just a cover,
just a cover. Yeah,
and let's be honest here, and USC is now fully in Big Ten play.
Mm-hmm.
In conference play,
yeah, as covers are
take
the covers, even if they're on the money.
Yeah, at a certain point, you can't be expecting to blow everybody out by 30.
Yeah, no,
I will. You give me 18 right now, I'll take that 18.
Yeah, you say not expecting teams to blow teams out by 30. I don't. I think SC wins by 29. I got SC 45-16. I feel bad for Michigan State here. I like Jonathan Smith a lot. I think that, I think they're in good hands, especially moving forward. This is just a bad matchup for them. It just is.
The only thing that
bad matchup and weird time and injury stuff and traveling across, there's no reason to like this game if you're a Michigan State fan.
The worry here is mostly that USC, because of all those things, doesn't take this game as seriously.
100%.
This could be primed to be like a look ahead special.
It could be. SC did take care of business against Rutgers last year, but if I remember right, there was a weird moment in that game. There's a weird moment in every game where you're like, is this? Yeah. Yep. But 45-16 is my prediction there. So let us know your predictions. Sound off in the comments and all that kind of stuff. Let's get to the mailbag, shall we? Oh, but by the way, before we round ready, 48-17. Find our natties, 44-17. So there you go. Mailbag.
You've got mail.
All right, let's start with a YouTube comment in the chat that we got from Tim in LA. What are your thoughts on Sua Cravens' prediction of USC going 5-0 in this upcoming stretch?
That would mean beating Michigan State, at Illinois, Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I do not expect that to be the case.
Neither do I.
I think that if it is the case, then suddenly we are looking at USC and saying they have a chance to win at Autzen and are a lock to make the playoff.
If they do start 8-0, then yes, this is the team that's a lock to make the playoff.
I mean, 8-0, an 8-0 USC after that run is
top 5,
potentially a top 5 team. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we need to see USC against Illinois before I even start to think about what the possibilities for Michigan, Notre Dame, and Nebraska look like.
Yes.
But I just also think the likelihood of this USC team putting together a run of games where they don't screw up somewhere along the line in one of those games, if not 2 of them,
that's the thing.
It's just so unlikely.
Yeah, I absolutely can make an argument for winning all 5 of those games individually.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't used to think that I could make an argument about the Notre Dame game. I'm starting to come around on that because I think SC might be better than we thought they were, and Notre Dame is not
vulnerable, obviously.
Is vulnerable because they've lost twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's just there's 3 really tough road games there. We don't exactly know how good Nebraska is. Is Nebraska a 7-5 team or are they a 10-2 team? I don't know. It could be either or. Illinois could be the same thing, but everyone's kind of assuming that they're a 10-2 type team. So we'll see. Michigan is just super talented. Like, I think if that game is tomorrow, I think I'm picking SC, but like, we all know that could go either way, right? Like,
Nebraska plays Michigan this week. I didn't realize that.
That's a good barometer for both of those teams. Yeah. Alien 55 says it's possible. I think it is possible.
I'm not ruling it out. I just don't think it's probable. Yeah.
Like to me, my hardest thing is like, I don't think many teams at all are going through that stretch 5-0 because it's so hard to be undefeated, even if you are Ohio State and, Georgia, right? They need to go to overtime, like against Tennessee. Like, teams lose to ranked teams on the road. That's what they do. Like, that's what college football is.
Yeah.
So, I think SC can be very impressive, and SC can be way better than we thought they were before the year, and they can still not go 5-0 there.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a tough stretch. Ron Murray in the chat, should we be worried about UCLA taking Danton Lynn from us as their new head coach? You got thoughts on this?
Frankly, I think that UCLA should be reaching a little higher. I know that they have good feelings about Danton Lynn, but also like he abandoned them. His defenses at USC aren't like if he had elite defenses from day one at USC, then it would be a different conversation. But like his defenses at USC are still flawed. Like he's not 100% definitely a head coach at this point, based on what he's done as the defensive coordinator at USC.
He's on a trajectory.
He's on a trajectory, but like he's clearly not there. UCLA shouldn't. I guess what I'll say is no. You shouldn't be worried about UCLA taking Danton Lynn because if UCLA hires Danton Lynn as their head coach, then UCLA is doing things wrong. And as much as I like Danton Lynn, like I don't think he is at this point like the end all be all. USC couldn't survive without him. And I would love for him to prove me wrong and for this defense to really come around and start to shine this season and help lead USC to a really, really positive season. I think that's still on the table, but that's also not where we're at this point. So
yeah, Ron Murray says UCLA might not have enough money for a big hire. See, that's
but I'm not saying big hire. I'm saying smart hire.
No, see,
like
I think there's a very good chance that there's an overcorrection here. This is a tough hire for Martin Jarman because, like, his reputation as a UCLA athletic director will come down to this hire. Mm-hmm. Yes, he screwed up the Deshaun Foster thing, but also the Deshaun Foster thing was Chip Kelly absolutely effed the program over. Left at a time where, like, it was not during the coaching carousel. If anything, Jarman should have done the thing that Andrew Luck did at Stanford, where like you're a caretaker head coach for this season, and we'll reconvene later. But that's literally punting away the first year of the Big Ten, and like that's a hard thing to do and sell to the school president and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I give Jarman some grace for this, but that means that he's got to nail this one. But I feel like athletic directors tend to overcorrect. And we saw this with SC hiring Clay Helton, right? Oh, well, they didn't hire Ed Ogeron, and they screwed up by going to the guy with, who was successful at Washington and just won 9 games, even though he was 7-1 Sark. He had just won 9 games at Washington in 2013, and maybe was turning a corner and all that stuff. And like, they didn't do that. They went back and they hired the interim that people on message boards were saying that they should have hired anyways, right? In Clay Helton, which was the wrong move. Ogeron would have been the wrong move too, but like it was the overcorrection to the thing. And I think that this just screams to me that UCLA hires a coach with head coach experience and wants head coach experience so bad that they hire someone who isn't a great option, but is very experienced and is the opposite of Deshaun Foster that way. Because if I am UCLA, and mind you, again, money matters. The UCs have no money, all that kind of stuff. But like Wasserman gave them millions of dollars to go get Chip Kelly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call him up again and try to get money for Lane Kiffin. Like,
now,
Lane Kiffin is such an obvious freaking hire for them.
The most chaotic hire. I hate it. I hate it. Please no.
It's an obvious get for me. If I'm a UCLA person.
No question.
It's an obvious hire.
But also, like, I think that UCLA is probably realistically more in a position to do, like, I think the ceiling for UCLA is to make their Curt Cignetti hire. You know, the head coach at James Madison, who is just a proven winner, who isn't like the top.
When you say a Cignetti hire, do you mean a Cignetti type or literally Cignetti?
Oh, no, a Cignetti type, the next Cignetti.
Sure.
Lane Kiffin.
I think that would be smart, but again, I can't see them doing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you have to identify that coach correctly, because there are a lot of coaches in the position that Cignetti was in, as the head coach of James Madison, who aren't good enough to take that job. Like Lane Kiffin just talked about John Summerall, the host of Tulane. It was not the host, the head coach of Tulane, and he said that like he expects him to be an SEC head coach soon. You know, maybe that's somebody that you look at. So, you know, the head coach at Tulane, the head coach at a place like Troy, the up and comers.
Right.
But again, you have to be able to identify that talent, and you know, is Jarman able to identify that talent? That's a question.
I'm trying to think of like who Kenny in the chat says Mac Brown, after all he did, beat USC famously in that same stadium too. Yes. I'm trying to think who matches the guy with a bunch of experience but is not someone you should be hiring in 2025 kind of thing. Like, I guess in 2026. Is it Mike Gundy?
That would be a terrible hire. And yes. That is exactly the hire, Michael. That is exactly it.
Great resume. But like, have the wherewithal to realize that he needs a reclamation at this point, and UCLA shouldn't be getting a reclamation guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw some comment somewhere. This is just speculation of what I saw. This could be completely wrong. It could be BS, internet BS. But it was something about like Jed Fish, because
I was going to bring up Jed Fish.
That's the ultimate job that Jed Fish wants, which I believe. I believe that. But somebody was like, his family hates Seattle. They've already moved out of Seattle and blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that part. And maybe I should just Google it, sure. But like, I do think that Jed Fish would make a lot of sense too. But is Jed Fish going to leave Washington quickly?
Jed Fish's buyout is probably still pretty significant.
Probably.
He would make a lot of sense, but again, we're talking like buyouts. And I think it was Iliam in the chat brought up a good point. Like, to get Denton Lynn, they'd have to buy him out too. And I don't think that would be cheap either. So
yeah, like I see a world where they do something. I'm just scrolling through here. Like,
no, what they need to do, and I'm not saying this directly, but again, it's the Cignetti, or like, who's Matt Entz? Like, who's your Matt Entz? Who are these the guys?
Get the guy at Idaho who's really good but young. Yeah. No, I
Hey, Joe says John Gruden did say he want to coach in college football again. John Gruden is their Jim Mora hire.
That's the thing. The Jim Mora, they just need a redo of Jim Mora.
I was going to say, like, Gruden.
That worked for them.
I'm not saying that Gruden would be a disaster, but it would be a funny hire.
See, I'm just like scrolling through guys who are currently employed. Like, how about a Pat Narduzzi, a guy who would have been a great hire 10 years ago? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And decent resume, guy who's very experienced, but also is he going to give you the vapors in 2026? No. Like, that to me seems like the quintessential UCLA hire.
It would feel very UCLA for them to get Ed Orgeron. That's all I'm saying. Feel very UCLA.
Speaking of Ed Orgeron, Elliot in the chat said that SC didn't hire Ed Orgeron, so they got Timu, Ed Orgeron, and Clay Helton. No, you know who Timu, Ed Orgeron really is for me is Tosh Lupoy.
Yes.
And I saw somebody say that, like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity for Tosh Lupoy to move up to head coach.
Please do.
Make that mistake.
Yeah.
Make that mistake. Yeah. How about Shane Beamer from South Carolina? Maybe?
Yeah.
Sonny Dykes isn't going to work for another UC. He's probably burned a lot of bridges in the Regents or whatever. So that's not going to be the case. I don't know. Or it's somebody who hasn't had a job in, like, it could just be like their next version of Jim Mora. That was a good a good mention there. Yeah. Yeah. West Texas Mike says Pat Narduzzi is always bitching about something. Plus he had one of the saddest seasons last year. Won his first 7 games and lost the last 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fight on Natty's Rick Neuheisel comes out of retirement. See, you want to know what would have been interesting? You make Rick Neuheisel the interim.
Oh God.
He could be their Frank Lampard. They're like
just come in and
they're like, oh shoot, that we screwed something up.
Yeah, but if he comes in and wins one too many games, then suddenly you're hiring Rick Neuheisel again, and then
Bruin Boy 46 on Bro is like, actually we should hire Neuheisel. Like he knows the fun stuff. All right. We got a comment from Fight on Natties in the chat. Were either you aware that you rank as one of the best SC podcasts in the LA/SoCal area? So first of all, I misread this. I thought it said one of the best podcasts in the LA/SoCal area, and I'm like, hold on, was there like some sort of list that we missed? Because that would have been kind of cool. Like I that would have been shocking, but like kind of cool. I would hope that we're one of the best USC podcasts. I'd really hope.
Well, considering there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
I think we talked on a previous episode about the ranking of podcasts that came out where we were the number 2 USC podcast behind
Bob Stoops.
The Peristyle. Bob Stoops and Lincoln Riley in LA would be very fun.
I don't think Bob Stoops, like he's like Barry Alvarez.
Yeah,
like
that's not happening.
He's just the coach emeritus. How do you
emeritus.
Say that? Emeritus, sure.
Yeah.
There you go. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to leave.
Billy Napier might be available.
Yeah. Here's the AI overview, by the way. I just Googled best USC podcasts. Some of the best USC podcasts include the official university series Ideas in Actions for general academic topics.
Oh, Lord.
The Peristyle Podcast and Locked on USC for Trojan and basketball news, football and basketball news, and Rate of Troy Radio for post-game analysis. Rate of Troy Radio features hosts who provide raw post-game conversations after USC football games, offering first reactions and hot takes. Hot takes? Are we the hot takes pod?
We're the hot takes.
Oh, boy. Wow. All right. What else? We got an email. Last thing here. Email from Mike in Bellevue, Washington, about our very quiet friend today. You see how nice and peaceful things are today? It's very great. Hi, Michael and Lacey. I love hearing your new dog, Badger, bark in the background. Michael, don't be so hard on the puppy. He's not ruining the podcast. He's making it more fun. My 14-year-old Bijan Robinson? Bijan Poodle Mix often barks loudly when I'm on the phone or a Zoom meeting. Drives me crazy, but I love her no matter what she does. I know you both are good dog parents, too. Thanks for all that you do for us Trojan fans every season. Fight on, Mike in Bellevue. Mike, I appreciate it. I really do. I think Alicia appreciates it. Badger certainly appreciates
We
it.
greatly appreciate it. Apologies for him not barking during this episode. He's literally been laying right there, right over my shoulder, for the entirety of this podcast, dead asleep.
Yeah.
Which means that the sniffing, the long sniffing walk that I took him on earlier did the job. Also, we needed to hear this because the puppy.
Yesterday was a real bad day.
Yesterday was not a good day. In that.
Yesterday was a day in which I actually thought about, like, could we rehome him?
We are not rehoming him over my dead body. No, but he was, even I was at my wit's end. Not one, but two, what I will call
protest peas.
Asshole peas
Yeah.
in the studio. Not the I need to go and you didn't let me out kind of peas. The you're not paying attention to me, so here. Twice.
Yeah, where he like makes eye contact with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, which is unlocked the new fear for me that it's gonna happen in the middle of an episode. Which might be good audio.
I mean,
it might also not be. Because like we got a comment on where is it? On YouTube from Jack Prozac. The dogs, ... Oh my god, the dogs. You thought that this means, oh my god, the dogs are cute. I think this means, oh my god, would you shut up the damn dogs? So like, Mike's email is great, and I appreciate you for thinking that we're great dog owners, because I worry that you guys all think that we're terrible.
see, I don't, well, if people think we're terrible dog owners, they simply haven't owned a 9-month-old puppy, is what I think. I am heartened by all of the TikToks that I get fed from people, and it's because the algorithm knows, TikToks that I get fed from like dog trainers and dog people saying like, if you have a teenage puppy, like, don't worry, this is a phase, like they're assholes. And yeah, he's in the raptor phase. He's in the asshole, testing his boundary phase, and I cannot wait for him to be done with it.
Yeah, me too.
See, Joe, he does, and we're just going to gross everybody out with this. Joe,
poops.
He doesn't do spite poops.
Oh, God.
He spites us by bringing his stuff from outside inside.
So we have a porch potty in our apartment balcony. And so it's like, it's great, because it's great for Badger, because Jessie, like, doesn't drink water. She doesn't like to drink water for some stupid
We have
reason.
to force her to drink water by like, basically she's fed in her water bowl with some kibble.
Soup now.
Yeah, she gets kibble soup.
Yeah. But like, so she's not a big peer. Like, we'll take her out and sometimes she just won't even pee. But Badger will pee at any moment that you need to take him out, and not like as a marking thing. He just drinks a freaking crap ton of water. This is like, he's a Big Water has like propaganded him.
We have I had to get a 3-gallon water bowl thing with the 3-gallon thing that you flip over, like the water cooler kind of thing for his bowl.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep up with how much water I needed to refill in his water bowl, and I have to refill that thing every 2 days.
Yeah. And
it's insane. I do not know where all this water goes.
Of course, Jessie doesn't like it because you take one little lap of it and it goes. Whoop,
Jessie tried to drink water out of it once. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, because she drank one and then it did the little bloop and she bolted like she did the whole like scared cat cartoon thing, just jumped up and skittered away into the bedroom and under the bed, just like she will not go near it. So,
and Badger loves it so much, like that's literally one of his favorite places.
He
to lay.
literally
Like,
just
he'll
lays
lay down
next to
and
it.
then lift his head up and drink.
Yeah,
it's weird. But so we have the
porch potty,
which is great. Pain in the ass, emptying it, and he poops out there, and sometimes we don't even know that he went out, so we see the poop and we get it later. And so the worst part is he will poop out there. Let's say he poops in the afternoon, and you didn't go grab the poop when he pooped, and now it's the evening, and you're not giving him the attention that he wants, he will just go get a little nugget and like bring you the nugget and start chewing on it in front of you. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
What? That's not a Hershey Kiss.
No. Dogs are gross.
Which I guess it's our fault for not like immediately following him out there with the poop bag. But like,
yes, but also I don't think it's asking too much to want him to not do that particular behavior.
He hasn't brought one in bed or something like that, which would be brutal. But so
yeah.
Well,
he has peed on the bed though.
Multiple times. Unfortunately.
Puppy life is what it is. Yeah.
He's lucky he's cute, and he's lucky he's a cuddler.
He is so cute, and he is such a cuddler.
But Jessie is my favorite, currently.
And Jessie's not a cuddler.
Not a cuddler. But you know what she's also not? She's not a barker.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a poop eater. She's not a...
The only time she's ever like peed inside was clearly like an accident.
Yeah. Or like clearly our fault of some sort. Yeah. Which hasn't happened with her in like 2 years. So, yeah. All right. Anyways, we'll be back Saturday evening. No, we'll be back Sunday morning. Right? Sunday morning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will be Sunday morning.
We're
God damn.
probably going to end up starting the pod like just about midnight. So get ready for that. And the watch along, join us for that 8 p.m. Lisa's watch along is a fun time. Hang out for that if you're not going to the game, and watch along and react with Alicia. Just don't put in the chat that you just saw an interception before we see it, because we're watching on a stream delay. But yeah, Ron Murray says Midnight Carcast. Yep, Midnight Carcast. That's what it's going to be. Join us then. Go open up the description, scroll down, click the link, make your over/under picks, and play the game and all that kind of stuff. We'll be back Saturday evening. Any final thoughts? Happy jet lag season! Happy
jet lag season to all who
celebrate.
All who celebrate. My last thought is my current hyperfixation is K-pop Demon Hunters, and if you love that movie, then you get it.
No, I'm just waiting for Friday when Lola Young's album drops.
Is it Friday?
It's
Yay!
Friday.
Yay! That's exciting.
Everyone talks about this Sabrina Carpenter album,
which is a banger. By
all
the
these weirdos, cat ladies, are talking about
Taylor Swift's coming out in a couple
Swift
weeks.
Bullshit.
Exciting.
No, it's the Lola Young album. That's the banger.
Looking forward to the Lola Young album.
That's the banger. So, all right. Until Saturday, we'll see you guys. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.